Det er nice.
Det er nice?
Ja.
Er det nice?
Ja, det er nice.
Nice?
Har du fått fisket noen siden sist? Nei, nesten ikke. Jeg har ikke fisket, jeg vet at du har fisket.
Ja, jeg har fisket.
Har vi laget sånne jingles og sånn?
Nei.
Jo,
har ikke kommet sånn da.
Nei, men vi skal lage det før den blir sluppet.
Ja, jinglen er nå 10 bomter, ut på tur.
Det er så dårlig. Men det gjenspeiler oss i dette skal.
Skal ikke gjøre det for avansert. Har vi laget noe notat i dag til hva vi skal snakke om?
Nei.
Basically, I'm going to start recording there. I'm going to start a backup recording as well, just to be sure. And now we're live.
Nice. First time in English?
First time in English.
Yes, you
we can
the most, Simon.
Okay, I can speak most. To introduce us, the reason why we are speaking English today is because we have a legend among us, from those of us who have been watching YouTube spearfishing videos and Seabass videos and cooking videos and all of the stuff we actually dream about doing.
Yeah.
This guy is doing.
Yeah. And we can say that we feel something similar to him, actually. In the way we started.
We basically do all the same stuff, but we haven't started filming it. We haven't done it on the internet yet.
Yeah.
So this is our way of contributing. It's through this podcast. For those of you now who listen to this from no, from the English speaking world.
Yeah.
Our name is derived from that we never catch any fish when we're out fishing. So that's our team name. I've tried to figure out how to explain our team name in English, but it doesn't make any sense.
Oh.
It's just that the team that never catches any fish, basically.
Failure trip.
The failure guys, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but with us today, we have and some air horn for all of you guys. We have Harvey, the spearfin.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated. And also thank you for spending your time to speak in English and not, speak in Norwegian. I do appreciate you having me on for that.
Yeah. Well, it's just about broadening our horizons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just learn from other countries as well, and not just amongst our Norwegian weirdos.
Yeah. To start off a little bit for our listeners, can you explain who you are and a little bit about your background and stuff like that,
Give us the whole picture.
Yeah, I'll give you the whole picture. So my sort of fishing journey kind of started when I was about 6 years old. I and my family moved to France. And we lived in northern France in Brittany for 6 or 7 years. And I spent most of my evenings as a kid fishing for brown trout and rainbow trout on a little river that ran next to our house. And so fast forward 7 years, we then moved back to the UK, back to England. And I didn't really do much fishing then because it was a bit more built up. There was more houses. I didn't really have that, nature as such. But then got into spearfishing, which was slightly different altogether. It's like fishing but just underwater, and you're in charge of what you catch. And then kind of did that for 8 or 9 years, and I've seen quite a lot of cool stuff, I would say, for the South Devon coast in the UK. Lots of fish, as you've probably seen, like tremendous amounts of sea bass, to the point where there's so many in front of you, you can't even choose a fish.
Yeah. I've been diving for free diving for 15 years now.
Yeah.
Never seen a sea bass.
Not really.
No.
Actually, we have a friend that we dived a lot with. He catch it on one trip last year, I guess it was. Yeah. 4 sea bass just like a few hours.
Yeah, but that is a crazy town from Norway. We do not have that amount, but and again for the English listeners, I'm forgetting that we are not we are reaching out outside of our usual customer base.
Yeah.
My name is Simon, and with me, my co-host is Martin.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
I'm sorry.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
It's this podcast is low key.
Yeah. And we joke a lot. Yeah. Shall we take a?
No, he's not finished.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Behave.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So I carry on.
Yeah, please. Yeah, sorry for interrupting the
don't worry about it. It's fine. we got distracted by Seabass.
Yeah. That's a Achilles heel for us.
Yeah, I'm lucky in terms of the bass. You know, that where I tend to go spearfishing for that, you know, species is a breeding ground for them, and they tend to like congregate in that area. And there's been times where I've driven the boat up to the area and looked over the side of the boat, and the water's blue with bass. Like there's that many fish around you.
What?
Yeah, you can just see them from the surface. And when you jump in off the side of the boat, they all kind of like disperse and swim away from you. But as soon as they see a like the flopper shining in the water, or you know your fins, they just come straight back in, and then they're just doing a big vortex around you, which is cool to see. So yeah,
that's crazy.
So they're in they actually come up to you spearfishing.
Yeah, they literally swim. So you've got the end of the spear gun or the flopper, and they literally swim up to that because they don't know what it is. So it's
because they're stupid.
Yeah. So experiencing that kind of gave me the bug really to kind of carry it on. And then I always wore a camera at the time, so you know, finding a place to put all of the footage into one place and make some kind of like film or video out of it, that, you know, that kind of then started the YouTube, and then, you know, I picked up a bit of traction, and yeah, so that's kind of the spearfishing journey. And moving on to sort of like now where I am, I've only just recently left the Marines. I've been in the Marines for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And during that time, I kind of, all of my spearfishing and fishing got kind of put on hold. I didn't have the time to go out and do it. And yeah, so that's finished now, but I've now left, and I've set up a fishing tackle company with a friend of mine called Lazy Lures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of stand now.
That's pretty cool, actually. But we have to go back to the Seabass a little bit. Your explanations is like, for me, it's mind blowing, because this year we have this competition. What's the translation to English? Sea Fisherman of Norway or something.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that is you have a lot of species you have to catch, and Seabass is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I spent like 60-70% of my season trying to catch a Seabass. I catch one. I tried to calculate how many hours I used on the Seabass this year, but I guess it's around 300 and 330 hours or something. It's extremely
yeah. To set it kind of in perspective, just to the reason why we started talking to you now is as well because of the Seabass, because I saw one of your latest videos on YouTube where you caught a tremendous amount of Seabass.
Yeah.
Just throwing some lures, and I was like,
Simon hasn't catched the Seabass yet. Just to mention it.
It's taken a time, or not a time. It's taken a fair while to figure out the best sort of area, because I was catching those bass on top water lures.
Yeah.
And you know, I was drifting the boat in only about 3 meters of water, so it's quite shallow. But the water gets pushed through quite a small little area, and it's quite a strong tide. And the water, there's lots of factors to it. The water was clear, the tide was strong. There was lots of like bait in the water, which all helped. But yeah, every cast, it was just constant. It's good.
That's actually where I catch my fish. It's exactly the same area as you described now. It's like a strong tide and shallow waters, a lot of bait fish. And we saw a lot of seabass there, actually. But they aren't easy to catch.
No, they're there are a lot of them here in the UK, so it does make it a lot easier. But they're still, if the conditions aren't right, they're still a really hard fish to catch. I was out fishing this afternoon. It's later on in the year, so it's a lot more difficult. But didn't catch a thing. I just got wet and cold.
Yeah. Well, during the fishing competition that we have been participating in this year in Norway is there have been 203 people participating.
Okay.
It has been caught 3,748 fish that have been registered as counting fish.
Nice.
And that is on 25 different species. Mackerel, obviously, has 339 registrations of point-giving fish. Seabass has 17.
17, really? But still, 17 is quite good for, like you said, Norway and the conditions there. It's still quite a good.
That is 17 fish caught by 203 fishermen over the whole of 2023.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I take that back a little bit.
It's not that good, is it?
Yeah, it's.
But we can come back a little bit to seabass later.
Yeah.
We have to figure out some more things.
Yeah.
Where you live, what kind of fish do you fish the most in saltwater?
The most. And you hate me for saying this, but this year I've caught more bass than I have anything else.
All right. Okay, that was the end of our call.
But normally you have pollock as well as us in Norway, and obviously a lot bigger fish in Norway. But pollock is one that we tend to fish for quite a lot. On the bottom with big like bright lures, pollock, and maybe cod if we're lucky. But that's the difference with Norway, is that you can smash the cod out and get really nice cod, whereas in the UK we're constantly struggling to find a cod that's a good size. So
but that has been actually a topic of one of our previous podcasts in Norwegian, is that the cod population is actually declining pretty much at least in the western and southern parts of Norway.
Okay.
And some guys are kind of
there's a theory.
There's a theory about the seas being a couple of degrees warmer now. And the cod really like cold water, so they're migrating more to the north of Norway, basically. Now, so there's still some good. We have seen pictures now from a friend of ours caught cod yesterday at 14 kilos, and that was just a couple of hours north of where we are in the western parts. So there's still good cod to be caught. Trying to say stuff.
But in the northern part of Norway, the same guy says that you can go dry shoot over the shore on cod. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's probably why also the sea bass, since you're more southernly located than Norway, basically. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the reasons why you have seen such an incline in the sea bass population in at least the last couple of years, I'm guessing.
Is that what, because of the temperature rise in
Yeah,
the water?
that's the theory from some other fishermen in Norway, and from we have people that have read reports from our kind of like research
Yeah.
government people.
I can't, I've been spearfishing for, nearly 10 years, but then I haven't really fished for bass like I have properly. I've only started doing that in the last sort of, like I said, 5 years. But yeah, you can see the increase, like you said, between 5 years ago to now, where, I can go out of an afternoon and catch however many bass, like 14, 15 bass just on, in 2 hours. So yeah, something's changing, but for me, it's working. So
yeah. For you, it's a great time.
Yeah.
But it's like also in Norway, we had a lot of income of the striped palamade something. It's a form of mackerel, tuna fish thingy.
Yeah.
That has been sighted in the last couple of years, a couple of times, and it's the seas are changing basically. But
yeah, I don't know if you've seen on the news or read up about it, but there's 25 boats now in the UK that are allowed to legally catch tuna and release them.
Yeah.
Which it's never been a thing. Tuna haven't really been in our waters that much, and I actually live very close to, I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but very close to a sort of like breeding ground for the tuna. They tend to like hang out there quite a lot. And I went there recently, about a month ago, with my camera and a big lens, and, managed to catch the tuna fishing or, hunting for garfish. And you could see the garfish jumping out of the water, and then there'd be a big, 200-pound tuna chasing it behind.
You got it on the camera?
Yeah. If you get my Instagram up, you'll see all the pictures.
That is insane. We had a fishing trip also this a couple of months ago, where all of a sudden there was a flock of tuna hunting besides our boat, and they were jumping out.
Yeah,
and the weird part for me seeing that for the first time is they make literally no sound going back down again. They're like,
I know. I've also seen a video of one taking like a bait or a bit of fish from the surface, and he came up and didn't even make a break on the water and just straight back down. They're very clever fish.
Yeah, we have actually been fishing for tuna with a rod is our goal for next year, basically.
Yeah. Nice.
To get we had this year the boat registered in one of the legal boats, but time caught up with us, and we never got the time to actually go out.
And the weather wasn't actually good enough.
No, we here in Norway you are dependent on good weather.
Yeah.
To get out, because we have to go kind of beyond.
You need to go offshore.
Yeah.
So, but next year, I hope. If you see the rod back here, we are trying to get some. For those who are listeners, now we're showing off some big reels and rods. But yeah, that's the main goal for me actually. This year it was Seabass. Next year it's tuna, I guess. So land the tuna and release it again. Maybe
release, maybe eat. Maybe
I don't know. It depends on what we get.
What's the rules in Norway for catching and keeping them? Are you allowed to legally keep the tuna?
A team of fishermen registered as one team are allowed one fish for the whole season as a sharing amongst the whole team. But there are different kind of licenses going on.
Yeah.
So
commercial fishing
are allowed if you are registered as one of the few boats. It's not many boats, but there are a few.
Yeah.
And they have been doing actually some trials as well with catching tuna in big nets, but that didn't go very well.
Live tunas.
Yeah, live.
Because the quality of the meat is like, if you fight the fish, as I know, the fish gets warm and the quality of the meat goes down. You get very bad quality. So you have to make the tuna go cold again before you kill it. So that's like a problem for commercial fishing. Commercial. No, commercial. Yeah. Commercial. I need to ask something. No. All right, but
tell us about your lure company, Lazy Lures.
Lazy Lures.
How? Why? And give us the story.
I mean, it started when I was still in the Marines. I got to the point in my job at the time, I just wanted to do something different. I'd kind of had enough of doing that job, and I wanted a kind of like escape, but an escape down a route where like every hour or every minute I put into the business, it was something that I enjoyed. And I was doing my passion, fishing or spearfishing, but the main one being fishing, but also building the company at the end of it, and still in the process, but that's the end goal. But yeah, we started out, brought some samples, tested them out, did a lot of work on them, trialing them, getting them to the finished product that they are now, which I have here, but the listeners won't be able to see the different cracks. But yeah, it's going really well, and it's something that I'm really happy to have started with a friend of mine. It's me and a friend who run the company. But yeah, it's good. We're in, I think, 15 shops so far in the first year. And we're planning our target for next year, so January. By the end of 2024, we want to be in 100 shops across the UK.
How many shops are there in the UK?
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots. So yeah, that's the sort of the rough outlay of Lazy Lures.
Yeah. Do you ship internationally?
It's something we are trying to work on, is getting postage or shipments sent to Europe and obviously Norway or wherever. But having left Brexit, like the UK when they left Brexit, has made it very difficult. And to send anything abroad, it either gets held at customs or the customer has to pay, stupid amount for custom fees. So trying to work around it, but it's taking some time.
Yeah. No. Should try to get a Norwegian distributor and just pass everything along to them.
That might be the option. Maybe two guys sat in front of me.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
But the quality of the lures, of course, you say that's top notch. But what will you say? Where in the market are you?
I would say personally, because it's my company as well as my friend. We would like to think that we're, like, social media wise, we sit quite high in comparison to the other UK brands. I feel like they're quite outdated, and they've been around quite a long time, but they're kind of stuck in the old sort of rhythm of advertising and growing a brand. But in terms of like quality and, again, they're on par, if not better. We've had customers catch fish as soon as the lure like hits the bottom. So yeah, it's a matter of growing the brand and getting the awareness out there, really.
Yeah. Because the first thing that comes to mind when I saw, especially the soft plastic lures, is they're gonna be a pike. No, not pike. Lyr. Pollock. Yeah, there you go. A real kind of a really good at catching pollock.
Yes.
So
And of course,
Yeah.
Seabass.
Yeah.
So the first range, the ones I've just shown you on screen, the Bomb Squad eels.
Yeah.
The orange, the pink, the yellow, those sort of three colors were kind of designed to catch pollock and cod. You can catch bass on those colors. We have done. But the other two colors, there's the green salty sandy and the white, are more aimed at like the sort of the bass. Because that's they're always hunting the sand eels and the likes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm not going to give away any too much information, but we're working on something at the moment, and it's going to be released in hopefully end of February, and it is a lure that hasn't been sort of done in the UK fishing market. It's just the concept of it is slightly different. So it should be good and it should be exciting.
So everybody follow Lazy Lures on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also Sparefin and get that's where you kind of post the day-to-day stuff, right?
Yes. It's been tricky running a YouTube channel as well as a business at the same time. YouTube takes a lot of time, and you've got to, there has been times I've gone out, filmed a whole session and haven't caught a single fish. It's the last thing you want to put up on YouTube is a 20-minute video of no one catching any fish.
Oh, that might be in our segment.
Yeah. There's that.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
We joke a lot of not catching any fish, but of 200 and what's the number?
203.
203 the participations. Simon went to place number 25.
25. And I only started actually in the competition in March, and this is my first year kind of hardcore fishing in the sea.
Okay.
Upping my gear, upping the knowledge of where, how, and when, basically.
Oh.
So I'm actually really happy with my placement, especially because we had an internal bet.
Yeah, that's
so
the
loser of the competition has to go swimming without a wetsuit.
Yeah.
On the 23rd of December.
Yeah.
Okay.
Streaming it live on TikTok, I guess.
Nice.
So since I won and he placed like 40 or something, it's not even on the list.
I use 70% of my seasons catching Seabass. So but enough of that. Back to the UK. What about fishing competitions in UK? You have any cool thing to check out there?
There's some big competitions that run. A lot of them vary. That there's shore fishing. There's lots of kayak competitions as well, as well as the boat stuff. And it is something that me and my partner have been thinking of running a competition for ourselves. Not for ourselves, but for our customers and for other people, with a prize at the end of it of however much money if the person comes in the top three. But yeah, there's competitions. I wouldn't say there's one competition. There's hundreds that happen across the country of all different species and sizes. So yeah, there's lots to choose from.
Yeah, you should actually look at the concept of.
I'll send you the link to the Norwegian site, and I'm sure Google has a way to translate it, and you can see read about the concept and stuff like that from the Norwegian, and copy some of it because it's a really good. It's a good concept, yeah. That brings in a lot of. You can have a lot of different kind of starting points and still be quite good in the competition. The top 10 are really hardcore people that all they do is fish.
The winner this year said he fished about 1,500 to 1,600 hours this year. Yeah, that's shit.
It's
in
allowed.
Norway, it's fine.
In Norway, we don't care.
No problem.
That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours to be, especially, Norway's cold as well. So you're spending a lot of the time,
Yeah, no kidding. So the point is, the concept takes care of if you are a newbie or a hardcore fisherman, actually. So and there is different segments that you can participate in, and but of course the hardcore fisherman in the end of the season gets the most of it, I guess.
What's the sort of like prize for the top three? Like,
the first prize this year was a trip 1 week to the northern part of Norway for 6 people.
Lofoten.
Valued at, I think it's like 8,500 quid, about that price money wise.
I have been looking at trips up to there, and it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is for 5 people with 2 boats rental and 1 day with a guide. So it's a pretty big prize. Second place is a Simrad NSS 9 Evo 3S.
A computer.
Fish finder GPS thing.
Fish finder GPS everything thingy. And third prize is a motor guide XI3.
And that's actually a question I have. Do you use motor guide back in the UK?
I don't even know what motor guide is.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, a trolling engine.
It's a GPS controlled trolling motor.
No, well, people probably do. I've never seen it.
Okay.
That you should actually check out, because
check that out, because especially like if you find a school of bass, you can basically just push a button and it will keep your boat in that
anchor
spot
point,
without putting an anchor down, without anything. It's just a GPS module and a small trolling motor that keeps your boat right where you are, and you can plot out on your map thingy inside of the boat, and you can make routes, and it follows that route automatically and stuff like that. It's really fucking cool.
Wow. Simon's actually very excited about it because he got one of them, the most advanced models this year. So we say it's like the time before and after motor guide. Yeah. So
it's especially for us fishing like big ling and stuff like that, where you go basically 2 hours offshore, you find some structure on the water, and you want to keep the boat there, because when you find ling, they are usually in the same spot as always, and usually offshore they're really deep, like 150, 170 meters. It's a big fucking hassle to pull an anchor, all of that.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of putting down trolling motor, pushing a button, and it stays.
Yeah.
It's there.
What? I'm just going to write it down. Was it GPS trawler motor? Is that what it's called?
GPS trolling, like a trolling motor. Trolling motor. And
we send you the link.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah. So
Minn Kota makes one.
Can you think about
motor
this?
guide makes
we
one.
Learning UK people something? I would never thought about that. Okay.
It probably is already here. It's just that I'm quite not old fashioned in how I fish, but I've got my ways and I like to stick to them. That's just
but try a motor guide.
But okay, ever find yourself out like doing some big race? Is that what I call? Like, don't you have those or something like that, or congers?
Mm-hmm.
If you
we do.
Those, it's a game changer.
Wrecks in where I fish normally for congers, and it's good fun because they're not that they're the biggest fish, but there's sharks and stuff obviously, but conger are good fun when you hook up to a big one. They do put up a good scrap.
Yeah, we went out a couple of months ago with a local fisherman here that holds the current Norwegian record for congers at 31 kilos.
or 36.
36?
I guess it was 36.
Something like that is really big.
It's a massive one. We caught one ourselves also. I caught one.
It wasn't that big though.
No, it was like 5 kilos or something. But it was fun though.
Was that fishing? Was it or spearfishing?
Fishing,
yeah. But you mentioned spearfishing because in this podcast we haven't talked a lot of spearfishing. But today I guess we're going into that area. Spearfishing. How is it spearfishing in the UK's?
I mean, I would argue that it's probably one of the not one of the most diverse, but in Europe, it's probably the better area for a varied species of fish. You can. I've got friends that have seen tuna swim past them. Obviously, we can't shoot.
Sorry.
We can't shoot them because it's illegal, but also we don't have the right gear for it because your gun would just take off with the fish.
And if you're attached to the gun, you would also fuck off.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a ride.
We have the seals. We got bass, pollock, sharks, whales. There's everything here. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and having the good water clarity, which is a massive factor to spearfishing in the UK. Is if it's been raining or it's windy, you can guarantee that you're not going to see past the spear gun. Like it's just pointless going out. So you need
that is. But one thing that I really envy you spearfishing is you're allowed to keep lobsters.
Yes. Yeah.
In Norway, you're not allowed.
Really? Not at all?
No. Lobsters are only allowed caught in a trap between October and December. So it's really short months. And it's the shitty months to be out on the water. Yeah. It's cold and raining and snowing and ice.
We do have some sort of regulations on it. You can't take it's called a buried female. So it's, a female that's got eggs. And also if the tail has a V-notch cut into the bottom of the tail, that also means that it's quite a popular breeding male or female in the area. So that they tend to put. What was that?
Yeah, he just. Okay. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, there's. I over the years I've kind of mapped it out in my head because every time I go to the stretch of coast, I kind of know every hole and where it is just from memory. And I have about 15 or 20 holes that I check when I go down. And it varies along the coast. There's holes all over the place. It's just a matter of moving the kelp out of the way and using your torch and looking into the hole. But I can guarantee that every time I go down, I could find a lobster if if the water is clear enough. So
it's actually crazy. In Norway, we in 15 years of freediving or spearfishing, I've seen like 3 or 4 lobsters, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to take them, so you don't go. You
don't look for them, actually.
Yeah, you don't go into the kelp and look for the holes. So the ones you see are the ones roaming around, not giving a fuck.
No.
You'd be surprised though when you start looking for them. You'd be surprised how many actually, like even this. You see like tiny little lobsters, little baby ones tucked in the smallest crack. And until you start looking for them, you don't actually realize that that they're there.
No,
that's
and since we're not allowed to take them, we haven't looked that hard.
Yeah. But we catch a lot of scallops. Sorry about my bad English.
Yeah,
scallops.
That's okay.
That's like one of our main target when we're diving.
Yeah, scallops are the easy ones. Yeah. They don't run that far.
How sort of deep do they tend to be?
In Norway, from 1 meter to like 15.
Really, yeah, that's good.
And some places, if there is current is right and everything in sandbanks are right, then you have tremendous amount of slopes. Yeah.
I was about to say that there's a place where I live, or local to where I live, where on a strong tide, and not exactly what you said, on a sandbank, the scallops get pushed up to the sandbank, and then on a low tide, you can walk along the sandbank and just pick them up off the shore because they've all been washed up. So it makes it quite easy.
Don't even need to have the wetsuit on to get them.
No, just a pair of shorts and flip flops, and off you go.
But I'm just because I'm a bit curious. How about halibut in the UK? Do you have halibut?
You do, but it's very rare. Not like Norway. You know, I've seen all the Norwegian videos of people.
You've seen the Daniel Mann video with halibut.
Yeah. They're all good fun to watch, but they're just such big fish, and I can never like picture it until you actually see it in a video. But they're just monsters, aren't they?
Yeah. Actually, we haven't caught a lot.
We haven't caught a lot about the halibut, are especially for spearfishing, or especially for it's the northern parts of Norway.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to go above the Arctic Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still no guarantee, but
it's a short way to go to UK and then to northern Norway actually. So and the flight prices, I guess it's cheaper also.
It's cheaper to fly to the UK than fly to northern Norway. So,
but I hope hopefully this summer or in mid-season, I guess. We hopefully go to northern Norway, go to a place called Sørøya. I hope.
We're trying to, also we're part of a fisherman's club, basically, for rod fishermen here locally in our area. And we have a trip with that club in late of next year, basically.
September? No,
October or something.
Yeah.
That's prime halibut season, so we're hoping that we can.
That's also to Lofoten. I never been to Lofoten, so that's something I look forward to.
Yeah, we are regional. Basically, we are fishing regionally in the Bergen area. For anyone curious, it's the western part of Norway, and we have deep fjords. So our fjords reach the closest one goes to like 650 meters.
Yeah. I was last year I visited Norway. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram page. We actually went to Bergen, and then we drove up to. I was trying to find it on Google Maps. I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong.
That's all.
Kalvag?
Huh?
Kalvag?
Kalvåg? Nice.
Kalvag.
Kalvåg?
Yeah, Kalvåg. Yeah.
This is a tiny little place, but the one of the fjords that was leading like up to that place, me and my partner took a paddleboard out onto it, and I didn't realize it at the time until I got back inside and went on, sort of like not Google Maps, what's it called? Navionics. Realized how deep the fjord was when I was paddling over it. It was like 400 meters deep, and I was like, shit.
Are you going back to Norway, I guess?
I would love to. Like, I would happily come up to Norway tomorrow if I could. I can't afford it right now. So it's
of course. But if you come to Bergen, give us a call and we go fishing. And free diving and spearfishing.
I would love to. Yeah, it'd be awesome. And likewise, for if you ever decide to come to the UK fishing, then you can maybe get some bass ticked off the tally.
Yeah,
that's cool. We have some No, Simon have to help me. Spalter.
We have some usual talking points. I have no clue how to. We have some usual questions that we ask everybody.
I guess we need to run through them because the first one is actually, have you fished the last week? And what did you fish?
So, yes, I have fished the last week. I fished today, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch anything. I blanked. No fish.
Oh. Team blanked.
Yeah.
That's our
English.
That's our English translation, basically.
I did think that when you said for the translation, blanked is probably the best sort of,
in Norwegian terms, bomter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And for the next week, you have any plans?
Unfortunately, not. The weather's picked up. The winds are too strong. We've got a southerly wind blowing in, and it's just impossible. Unfortunately, winter's here. That's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Same here in Norway. I was actually out hunting today with shotgun.
No. Yeah. So for land fish.
Not fishing.
No.
But just to mention that was the point because in the mountains where I was, it was 21 minus.
Oh, really? Shit, it's cold.
So it's winter here also.
Yeah.
So,
actually, I was just say that reminded me when we, me and my partner visited Norway. We flew into Oslo and then drove from Oslo to Bergen, and halfway through. We kind of stopped in, not the mountains, but it was a lot colder than it was when we left Oslo. And we could see on the temperature gauge, it was dropping to minus 15. It got to minus 21. And we got outside and my nostrils, because it had been, it was warm in the car and I had quite a lot of condensation around my nostrils. It got outside, completely froze over, and I had two little lodges. Yeah,
that's funny. You've been in Norway in the winter time then.
Yeah. It's good. It's nice.
And the next stop we have, it's that's.
But we have to. Yeah. I have also been fishing. You always fishing? Yeah, I have been fishing.
All right.
Yeah, we have to go through all participants in the podcast actually talking about stuff.
Sorry,
he always forgets.
Yeah.
And, I've been ice fishing on the fjords.
Nice.
So one place now has been cold enough for a long enough time. That on Sunday, was it?
Yeah,
probably.
I guess.
We went out with a ice drill. I don't know what it's called, something, and checked the ice on our way out on the fjords. It was one of the most scarier things I have ever done. Because it's been really cold without any snow so far. It snowed now in the last couple of days, but then you get like the top layer of the ice, it freezes clear.
Okay.
And so when you first drill into it, it has a huge kind of like boom. And it cracks all the way around the fjord, and the fjord is really deep, so every sound resonates.
Oh God!
So also when you step on it, it creaks and cracks, and it makes a lot of noise. I was really cocky, like the first 50 meters, and the first kind of crack. That was, oh my God! I have to sit down. Oh shit! I'm gonna get wet, but it went fine.
I saw some videos of him, and he sounded like a 12-year-old girl. I guess. Yeah. So quite funny.
It was good.
Yeah.
But caught some pollock around a small one, about 4 kilos.
Nice.
Some ling around the same size. So yeah, it was a good day, basically.
Nice. Productive day. At least you didn't blank. That's the main thing.
Yeah. and I was almost shit my pants out for there. So that was good. And
if I have fished? Yeah, I have fished. And now I'm coming back to something that's quite important for me, actually. Because in Norway, we have fish farms,
What?
Yeah. And I no, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. You just need to hit the button every time. We have fish farms, and in this time of the year normally, and that's I don't know how to say that strong enough, but it's catastrophic. Actually, they run away from the farms. They get holes, and there's windy, and there's a lot of problem with that. So I fished escaped rainbow trouts in the fjords, and there's a lot of them. I fished like rainbow trouts to get them out of the ocean since October this year. And
is that on the fly or with lures or?
We fished them with copper lures, small ones.
They resemble the pellets, the feeding pellets, the small copper lures.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's a big problem actually. So for you in the UK, I would recommend you to not eat Norwegian farmed salmon. That would be
yeah, it's I've seen a few videos on it, and actually when going back to when I went to Norway, we stayed at an Airbnb. It was an old boathouse right on a fjord, and in the distance there was 3, circular fish farms that you could see. There were just, there was boat traffic and lights and stuff going on all the time. Which I'm not a fan of. I don't think it should be done.
No, the biggest problem actually is the sea lice killing the wild salmon, and of course all the rock, all the dirt that comes from it. The fjords doesn't look any good. For us who spearfishing, we see the bottom, and the bottom around the areas is just black. So that's
just like dirty silt.
Yeah, it comes from all the nitrates in the water, the fish poop, basically.
Yeah.
And since it's so concentrated, it doesn't filter out. So
it's quite bad, actually. For a fisherman in Norway, we doesn't like farmed salmon at all.
Okay. And just out of interest, the salmon that gets not produced but is packaged up, is that mainly sent to Europe, or does it get used in Norway at all? Do the Norwegians eat the salmon?
Actually, some of it get used in Norway. A lot of it actually gets used in Norway, but the export is the most. All countries in the world eat Norwegian salmon. So, and we produce like 100 times more farmed salmon than nature can produce itself. In Norway, we have like 400,000 every year. There is 400,000 salmon coming back from the ocean and up the rivers. So it's actually a very small amount fish. So, but
that was the virgin.
Yeah, I'm sorry, taking this very down. For me, it's very important to speak about it because the farming of salmon in Norway destroys very much in our fjords and rivers. Yeah, but in UK, in UK, you have salmon spawning in rivers.
It's something that I haven't actually fished for. You need quite a lot of, not licenses, but you need to.
Yes,
I hate when you talk about salmon fishing because it's a fucking snobby sport here in Norway. You have to. It's pay to win fishing.
And then you release the fish back.
And then you don't eat the fish. You just plop it back into the river again. And you're like, yeah, so manly. I paid a lot of money for this. I don't.
But yeah.
So
it is possible. There are, there's places, especially Scotland. I know Scotland's not the UK, well, not England, but Scotland is better for, salmon and stuff like that. It's a bit more remote. We get a lot of sea trout down here. There's lots of rivers that run into into the sea, and sea trout are quite popular. So yeah.
So one of our also like the fasta spalter, norsk regular things we ask about is what about this week's gear?
This week's gear.
And
Lazy
having the co-founder of Lazy Lures here, which gear would you like to promote for this week?
So shall I tell you my setup? What I was using?
Yeah,
for example,
I was using what was it? It was a pen rod. It was a 15 to 40 gram with I think 20 gram braid. And then I was using the what was it? The Arctic Assassin, the white one, today on the surf. But I mean, like I said, I blanked, so it wasn't very good. But yeah, pretty basic, to be honest. Yeah, not too productive.
Yeah, so for anyone listening, going to lazylures.co.uk or .com?
Lazyluresfishing.com.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
nice to have the link.
Yeah.
Correct. And get a bomb squad.
Nice. That's the one.
That's the one.
We actually need to try those out someday.
Yeah.
For Seabass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also can catch the Seabass.
Yeah. That's why that's why I messaged Harvey in the first place, was to get some insider tips on how to get that bass.
Yeah.
But do you fish? I have to actually ask the questions I wanted to about the sea bass, because you have been only bragging this whole time.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Same as you. So now now comes to the. Do you fish high, slow, fast?
Give him the recipe for Seabass, actually.
Yeah. So it varies. When I fish for bass with top water lures, but my partner completely disagrees with my technique on it, but it works for me. So I'll cast the top water lure out, like as soon as it hits the water. I think that the lure hitting the water enough, it creates a bit of a disturbance in the water, and then I'm like racking the lure back as quickly as I can for about 5 to 10 strokes. So there's like a big splash, and then there's a big like sort of like wake in the water, and then I'll pause it completely. Like there'll be no movement whatsoever, and then I'll just twitch it like once, twitch it again twice, and then really quick again. And then normally on the pause of the second time is when the fish will hit.
Yes, you're triggering kind of the natural predatory response thing.
And I actually filmed some bass on my 2 videos ago with a drone from the surface on top water lures, and you can see how they act. The lure hits the water, they all start to come up towards it, and when it was reeled at a very normal pace, they just followed it. They didn't do anything differently. But as soon as the lure was paused, they then kind of went into predatory sort of mode, and then they hit it,
Yeah.
So that's for top water fishing. And then it depends obviously what lure you're using, but and obviously the conditions again. But with the sort of soft plastics, if it's been quite turbulent, the water's churned up, I like to sort of bounce the lure off the bottom. And then just, jig in the rod at the same time, just to create a bit of a, wave action with the soft plastic. Again, I feel like it needs to imitate an injured sand eel or an injured like small bait as much as it can. And if it's just swimming straight through the water, it's not going to have the same effect.
Yeah. Oh. And if it swim straight from, okay, yeah, I understand. But if I
speaking with your tremendous experience catching sea bass,
my tremendous experience. No, because I understand what you're saying, because I was casting from a bridge actually this late summer, and I saw 3 sea basses, actually quite big, casting like 15, 20 meters over them. Sorry for my bad English, but yeah, and just luring it in like this very slowly. And they swim normally. They follow, but they didn't get the interest. And the ones I caught, the one I caught is just like I remember that I had a lot of movement in my. So
they're very clever fish. I don't know if you use a leader or like sort of like fluorocarbon line.
Yeah.
If you don't have a trace or that fluorocarbon line, they'll see the. I don't know if you fish with braid. So they'll see the braid, and as soon as they see that, they'll obviously instantly swim off. You have that tied in with if the lure isn't swimming properly, and then there might be fish there, but they might not be feeding. That's the other thing. It's just there are all so many factors to it, but
no. But what about bait fishing?
Yeah,
we have one in our fishing club, or what should I call it? That's a fish with mackerel fillets just hanging in the water. Do you have any experience with bait fishing?
I haven't caught many bass using bait, to be honest, because I haven't really done that much of it. The only sort of fish I'll catch with the bait is conger and ling, but that's over sort of wrecks when we're anchored, and it's slightly different. But there's hundreds of shore fishermen in the UK that will catch big fish, and they actually catch bigger bass using bait rather than lures. Just because it's natural prey for the bass, and they would rather take that than something that's plastic.
Yeah, but you're allowed to use live bait, right?
There's rules on it. You are allowed to use it, but you're not allowed. Your shops aren't allowed to sell it, if that makes sense.
No.
Yeah, because in Norway, all bait has to be dead.
Yeah.
I actually had a guy that went to court because he put on, he was fishing halibut, and he catch some small bait fish, hooked it on, everything on video, posted on Facebook, had to go to court, pay a lot of money, and
yeah, it's the place that we were talking about at the start of the video where all the bass congregate and are in a group. It's heavily fished. Like on a good day, there's probably 30 boats fishing it, and every boat is every 2 seconds they're reeling in a bass, which I don't like to see. I like to catch my 2 bass. A lot of the time I release the fish anyway. I just do it for the sport. And it's heavily fished, but they're all using live bait. They'll have a simple weight with a long trace, and then like a small hook with a live sandeel on the end.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's quite interesting to talk about the differences between actually so small distance between UK and Norway. Because it's. In Norway, you have to go to court if you fish with live baits. That's all right.
Yeah, I think we're hitting like our usual 1 hour mark. I think we'll cap it there for now.
But I have one last thing.
Yeah,
he always forgot my last thing. Yeah. We have, and that's always comes like a surprise. But if you should say one thing to fishermen out there, sports fishermen actually, what would that be, and why?
The wise word of the day.
Yeah.
What is that? The wise word of the day.
Yeah.
One bit of advice. I'll explain why I fish personally. It's I use it as a bit of an escape. That's my that's why I fish. I think, whatever's going on in the day, whether you've had a shit day at work, you've had a fallout with the missus, or whatever it is, you can spend 2 or 3 hours not speaking to anyone and just focusing on trying to catch a fish and not blank. And that's your sole task of that 3-hour period. And I would probably just say, as my advice, is use that time to enjoy it, and don't think of anything else, and just, live that moment, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the best ones so far, I would say.
Live in the moment.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good advice, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
So thank you so much for coming in and talking about you and your story and how you got into just starting a company about lures and giving us the secret tips about the Seabass. We'll definitely use that coming next season.
Yeah, because the Seabass is on the competition next year also.
Yeah. And hopefully we can catch up sometime and do this again.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be good. And, like I said earlier, if you ever are in the UK, the invitation's open to come out and fish for some bass. So
we'll give you a call.
We're probably going to do that. So thank you for listening, everybody, and have a nice evening. And then I'll stop recording stuff.
Yes. Det nice.
Det nice?
Ja.
Det nice?
Ja, det nice.
Nice.
Har du fått fisket noen siden sist? Nei, nesten ikke. Jeg har ikke fisket. Jeg vet at du har fisket. Ja, jeg har fisket. Ja. Har vi laget sånne jingles og sånn?